right, welcome back to another episode of the Karter Cast. I'm your host, Karter Baughan. Dylan is here as always. Connor, where's Connor? All of a sudden, I'm here. They say, oh, you need to face the music. I'm here to face the music. I was expecting you and Connor to be here, and I needed to face my punishment from the Duke Notre Dame game. I'm waiting 2 episodes now, and I'm not getting anything. This is kind of torture for me. I want to get this thing over with.
You're wanting to face the music. The orchestra's not here. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I bought my ticket for the concert. I'm here. I'm ready. And then all of a sudden, no one comes out. Just a conductor waving his arms. No music. Anyhow, we'll figure out the punishment later on. Who knows? Maybe I'll never get a punishment. NFL, college football today, how the plan's going to go today. Obviously, same as usual in the NFL, cover the top games, talk about the storylines, picks, that whole thing. College football, a little bit different today. It's kind of a weak college football slate. We have Texas, Oklahoma. That's obviously the big game this weekend. Probably, in my opinion, like there's other intriguing games. I think Washington State, UCLA is going to be fascinating. I think Texas, Texas A&M, Alabama is going to be fascinating. Games like that are going to be awesome, but I really want to just cover the Texas, Oklahoma game. And then I want to get into some talking points because you were sending me some Twitter stuff that a little shaky there, a little shaky opinions over there on the Dylan camp.
It's your ACC Pac-12 fake football bias. It's
fake football.
We'll give it a little glimpse into the discussion, but it's a little Big Ten versus maybe some other conference quarterback talk in terms of how high they're going to get drafted. And someone put Drake Maye ahead of JJ McCarthy, and we're soon going to find out that is objectively false.
All right. Well, you ready to start in the NFL?
Let's do it, brother.
All right. Hey, we get to go across the pond again. We're staying there. We're sleeping there. Jags -3 last week against the Falcons. Easiest cash of our lives. Also, Connor and I talked about it on the recap show. We were super chalk last week on all of us. Every one of us was, we like the Ravens. We like the Jags. We like the Bills. Guess what? All 3 of those cash. No problem. There we go. Jags, Bills in London, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium once again. Bills -5.5, over under 48.5. Technically, it's supposed to be a home game for the Bills. Obviously, I think that's just not going to happen. There's way more Jags fans there. This is a home game for the Jags. Dylan, I'll start this off here. We see the line, whatever. Besides the line, is it an advantage that the Jags have been there for 2 weeks or a disadvantage?
That is, when I saw this scheduling conflict at the beginning of the year, I asked the same question. I didn't know. And the first part was, is it a disadvantage for Jacksonville? But then you have to ask, are they staying there? Like, are they going home and coming back, or are they just staying in London? We know they stayed in London officially. It's funny you bring this up because right before this started, like Caesars Sportsbook went live on Twitter Spaces. It was with Patrick Everson from Vegas Insider, and they asked that exact question. Caesars is counting it as a scheduling disadvantage for Jacksonville when it came to putting this line out. Staying in London apparently is a disadvantage. The Bills coming from New York, it's not as far of a flight as for, like if San Francisco was going to go to London. So I would say Jacksonville is at a scheduling disadvantage. In terms of the game, I had the Bills at 4.5. At this point, I don't really know what I would take because I believe this is the Bills' first game in London. They don't really know what to expect, where this is Jacksonville 2.0. Wembley Stadium is Jacksonville 2.0.
Tottenham Stadium.
Didn't they play in Wembley last week?
I think they played in Tottenham last week. I'll double check. We'll get stats department, but keep going.
Either way, London Stadium. In terms of the team matchup, I think the Bills
they played in Wembley last week. They're playing in Tottenham this week.
Are you familiar with London geography? Is that a big difference?
Just different stadiums. I mean, it's all London.
Okay. All right.
I would say it's like playing in Yankee Stadium and then playing in Citi Field.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That doesn't matter then.
Yeah.
As far as the Bills go, week 1, lay out a big stinker against the Jets where Aaron Rodgers goes down, but then they quietly just eviscerated the next 3 teams they played. Washington, Dolphins, Las Vegas, all 1 p.m. games. No one really, if you weren't betting on that game, you might not have watched it. You might not have saw it. My worry with the Bills would be, I count this as a primetime game. And Josh Allen, I do.
So any standalone game is considered a prime time in your eyes, because I don't
Yep.
know if a 9:30 a.m. kickoff is considered prime time for me.
I say if it's standalone, it's prime time, and Josh Allen might be Kirk Cousins 2.0, and not the good Kirk Cousins 2.0, the bad, can't perform when it's a standalone game, all eyes are on you. And that honestly worries me a little bit, because I think we've seen that pattern over time. The Bills losing, or at least not performing well. I think of last year in the wild card round when they played the Dolphins, and it was super close with Skylar Thompson at quarterback for the Dolphins. I think of losing to the Bengals in the divisional round. So I'm a little worried. I kind of like the over here. Both teams' pass protection's pretty good. I think that there's going to be a lot of airing the ball out. The weather's supposed to be beautiful. I think 68 and sunny. As long as Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over, Bills Josh Allen turn the ball over, I think that this could be an over game. I don't know if I'll take it, but if I had to pick something to give now, I would say maybe expect some scoring in this game.
Dylan, you dog. I'm on the over. It's
There we
the
go.
right play here, because the spread's kind of weird. I actually, if you're like, hey, I want to tease a side, I don't hate that. Like, if you want to tease a side, go right ahead, get a better number, however you want, parlay it with someone else. I don't care. 5.5, I don't feel comfortable ever taking a 5.5 in any game whatsoever. As everyone knows, 4.5, 5.5 is the Vegas zone. Even Vegas is like, I don't even know what to do with this. Let's just throw it in there and then see what happens, kind of thing. I like the over here. It's 48.5. If you watch that Falcons Jags game, the Jags weren't impressive in that game, though. Atlanta had their chances in that game if they just had an even just mediocre, below mediocre quarterback. Because Desmond Ridder, I said it on Sunday, he's the worst quarterback in the National Football League. He is. He's the worst starting quarterback in the National Football League. But like, you're going against a guy like Josh Allen. We've seen what quarterbacks can do to this Jags defense. Oh, you say, oh, what about Kansas City? They only scored 17 points on this team. But the Colts come in and score 21 points. The Houston Texans come in and score 37. Obviously, there were turnovers in there, other stuff involved as well. But the Bills just put up 48 against the Dolphins. They can easily put up 30 plus against this Jags team. I don't like the spread. I hate 5.5, like I mentioned before. I'm going over on this game. I love that pick. Also, I kind of like it too, because last week, this has nothing to do with like real analysis, but the game going under last week makes me feel better that the next London game goes over.
Speaking of like trends and stuff, there is one thing I want to say before we move on to the next game. In London games so far, since the inception of the London game, the favorite against the spread in the first half, 9-1-1. So maybe Bills first half if you expect them to come out fast, but 9-1-1 the favorite is to the spread first half in London games since they've started.
Nice. I like that. Good stat there, Dylan. There we go.
What can I say?
Anything else on this game?
Nope, possibly over. Think if you want something, I would say over.
Yeah, I'm over, but you know it's me. I'm an overs guy. You know, I'm coming around to the unders. I'm doing my part, but let's move on. You want to talk about Panthers Lions? I'm kidding.
Love the Panthers. I love the Panthers.
They're up to 10 now in some books.
Oh, that's all. I'm gonna have to double down.
Oh no! Please don't. Please don't double down on the Panthers. Oh, they're so bad. No, let's got to pull it up. All right, there it is. Chiefs Vikings. This is a game. This is a game. I cannot wait. This one's going to be a fun one. Right now, it's Chiefs down to -4. I've seen this line anywhere from like 5.5 sometimes down to 4. Over under is 52.5. Like, I feel like the game of the week, whenever it's just a super high total, they're like 52.5. Just throw it there, and it ends up at 54 right before kickoff every time. Chiefs -4 at the Vikings. This game's in Minnesota. Dylan, what's your thoughts on this game?
As far as the total goes, it's not going to go down. That's just any Chiefs, Vikings don't play defense. Chiefs, prolific offense. So if you want the over, I would say get it at 52.5, 53, because I do think it'll end up at 54. If you watch the show, if you've been a fan of the show, you know how I feel about taking the Chiefs as like a 4 or 5 point favorite.
More than a 3-point favorite.
Anything more than 3, they just don't seem to cover those spreads. We saw it in prime time last week with Mahomes going down last minute. They win by 2. They don't cover. I don't really know about a side. I think the Vikings are better than what their record shows. Now, Karter, can we speak real quick for a second?
Trust tree.
99-yard pick six last week for Kirk. That's not good. It's not good.
Hey, you're telling me I watched that full game and I watched the replay. It was a very bad game by Kirk.
I didn't watch it, so maybe I could just like claim that I didn't see it. Maybe it goes away. But
In Kirk's defense, Panthers defense, sneaky good.
They've always been legit. Even last year, that Panthers defense was good. You guys,
5 starters are out on this defense, so and we're still playing well. So
yeah, I don't. That's good in defense for Kirk. Real quick, only real thing that I noticed I wanted to bring up: Minnesota can't run the ball. The only game they've had any success running the ball was against the Chargers, who have just an awful rush defense. Minnesota has the second best run block PFF grade. Their offensive line. They're the 26th. How would I say this? They are 26 out of 32 in their total run grade. So second best in run block, 26th in total run. So what does that? I'm curious to see what that tells you. Is bringing in Cam Akers going to fix that? Is this an Alexander Mattison problem? Are they running at the wrong times? Like, what do you make of that?
I think it's an Alexander Mattison problem.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Cam Akers takes the job in this game. I think this is when it kind of gets slightly handed over. We saw him in the Panthers game. Cam Akers started to get some snaps, and he was explosive going through there. Like, there are holes. I mean, yes, the Panthers' run defense isn't great by any means, but there are holes. Even Alexander Mattison, like, I felt like he should have been doing more, even though he had a fine game against Carolina. I think Cam Akers is the guy in Minnesota, though. You don't trade for him unless you think you need him.
Is Madison just because Madison was fine when Dalvin Cook was there? Are there just some running backs that are made to be backup guys?
Yes, Miles Sanders. I think Miles Sanders is a backup running back. I think he's like, we talk about like who's a great, like those fringe starter guys, and you're like, man, like he would be such a good backup. Like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, you don't want him as your starting quarterback, but if he's your backup, you're not upset by any means. You're like, hey, he can come in, he can game manage, and he can win us a couple games, like if need be, if our QB's out a couple weeks. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about Alexander Mattison, how I feel about Miles Sanders, where it's just like, you know what, like as a backup, if our first running back goes down in that game, like he can get us there. He can get the job done if we need be. But him as the lead back, we've seen from both of those guys, they're just not the guy. They're not a starting running back. They don't have starting running back caliber. And the Vikings obviously feel the same way, or otherwise they wouldn't have traded for Cam Akers.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So what do you think about this game? Do you have a side you like?
No, I don't like Chiefs over 3. I'm with you. I've been burnt. I mean, obviously, you start off, taking picks and all this crap, and you're like, oh, Chiefs are going to easily beat the Vikings by 4. Yep. The Vikings are 1-3, and they barely beat the 0-4 Panthers. Like, how on earth are the Chiefs not going to win by a bunch? That's not how you got to look at this game. Stay away from the sides, in my opinion. It can be dangerous. It can be very dangerous. You can get burned by this, but this is just anytime touchdown game. Pick a bunch of anytime touchdowns. I think you can get some plus odd guys, not maybe like, I don't know, someone named like Josh Oliver, like that.
Everybody and their mother is going to score this game. Everybody and their mother.
Yes. And this also feels like, hey, Travis Kelce, we need you to get in the end zone for ratings.
So do we know if Taylor's going to be there? There's no way that Taylor's going to be there with Kirk as the quarterback.
I'm sure. Well, isn't she promoting a movie?
Maybe that comes out like the 3rd week of October, though. There's still a little time before that comes out.
Word on the street is it's not confirmed, but word on the street is she's coming to Minnesota.
Come on, Kirk, light it up, buddy.
Kirk Cousins. I think it's hilarious. Everybody who watched the Netflix quarterback special or the Netflix quarterback thing this summer and saw Kirk Cousins behind the scenes, like every person like fell in love with him. Kirk is just such a good guy. And Kirk is just a guy I'd let date my daughter kind of thing. And Kirk Cousins is going to come out there and just dice up the Chiefs again. Every opposing quarterback besides Justin Fields is just going to play their absolute best game when Taylor Swift is in attendance.
Now, this is something we have to workshop is any game that Taylor Swift is in attendance a primetime game, because there's going to be there's going to be an extra audience there. There's going to be some non-traditional football fans watching that game.
With that being said, I don't think the Chiefs play another 1 p.m. game the rest of the year.
It wouldn't surprise me.
The Chiefs play. Can you believe Chiefs Dolphins is not in America?
You're lying. Is it Germany?
Chiefs Raiders is the only game at 1 p.m. this season, Christmas Day. But that's prime time. It's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, Chiefs Raiders. That gets me hyped. That gets me excited.
That's a Monday. A Monday 1 p.m. kickoff.
Christmas is on a Monday?
Christmas is on a Monday this year, isn't it?
I don't know.
Christmas is on a Monday because all the other games are on Christmas Eve. A 1 p.m. kickoff Christmas on a Chiefs Raiders? That's amazing.
That's huge. That is a great, and Raiders are going to win. Raiders are going to win on Christmas Day, and it's going to be the best Christmas gift ever.
Chiefs Raiders, and this game's in Kansas City. I demand Andy Reid wears a Santa hat on the sidelines. If he doesn't wear a Santa hat, I will riot.
That's all time. He should just go full Santa garb, bring a little sack of presents and start handing them out to all the players. Now, here's what we need. We need a clip of Andy Reid in the box with Taylor Swift handing out gifts, dressed up as Santa Claus.
You know what? I promised people we wouldn't talk Taylor Swift, but I'm too interested. I'll be honest. I'm interested. I'm getting goofed by everything. I feel like I'm falling in the trap. I feel like I have to because it's taking the world by storm. I wanted to ask you this: is all of this a conspiracy? Is all this Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift stuff a conspiracy, or is it legit? Like, hey, this is a real thing? Because it's a little awkward that it's kind of super timely with her movie coming out this week or next week. Jake from State Farm is randomly sitting with Donna Kelce, who's in every State Farm commercial, the Kelce brothers. She's wearing the New Heights podcast hat all the time to promote the podcast. At least sees, little PR-y. It seems a little PR moves.
The one piece of information that makes me think that it's PR-y is the fact that the movie's coming out, and I never thought of that. And I mean, I'm going to say no. I don't think it is, but I could see where people would think so. I guess we'll see in a couple weeks. Like if they keep dating, then we'll know. If they break up after the movie comes out, or if they break up after their season's over, then we'll probably have an answer. That's a good way to think of it, though. I never thought about the movie. That'd be kind of scummy.
Because also if you watch Sunday Night Football, they showed her after I think it was the Pacheco touchdown, and then bam, add to the movie.
No way. So. Again, Trust Tree, can we talk? I woke up at 5 o'clock to watch the Ryder Cup. I didn't make it all the way through Sunday Night Football, so I missed it. I didn't see it, but that is a little sus.
You didn't see the Zach Wilson. I might have to ban you from watching Jets games then because you didn't watch the Jets game. Zach Wilson balled out.
Here, I will personally guarantee you I will not watch another Jets game this year.
Especially this week against the Broncos. Yeah, I know. That's going to be an awful game. Talk about poop bowl. But anyhow, also, I don't care if they end up together. My life's not going to be any different.
Like you said that you're interested in it now. What is it that you're interested in?
I'm interested how it's taking every person by a chokehold and how so many people are make it their lives.
To me, the interesting part would be if all of these Swifties just got into sports betting, and you see all these accounts with
what if there was a Swiftie what if Taylor Swift started doing the LeBron? If you haven't seen this right now, LeBron is putting out picks. LeBron's putting out picks for the people. I think he actually had a winning week.
Carter
choices.
He did have Lions over Packers.
He did have Lions over Packers. Actually, dude, LeBron actually had UMBC over Virginia.
No way.
He had UMBC money line over Virginia.
I heard he had Fairleigh Dickinson over Purdue.
I did too, so I'm going to flex there. I had Fairleigh Dickinson over Purdue. Yep. I think, and he was like, "Yo, I think this CJ McCollum kid's going to be legit." I had Lehigh over Duke. Nobody believes me, but dude, LeBron had Lehigh over Duke. LeBron actually had a perfect bracket. I don't know
Which
if you knew
year?
that.
Which year?
I think the last 5 years. I think he's about to go, 6 year in a row. I think he's trying to go 6 for 6.
Someone's got to get him in on the ESPN tournament bracket challenge. I mean, this guy would be raking in the dough. What is he doing?
I know he's starting Instagram Lives. It's appointment television.
Oh, LeBron, poor
That
guy.
was great. Anyhow, but LeBron's putting out picks. I want to see Taylor Swift start putting out betting picks. I want to see her just start putting out picks, just being like, I don't know about this Bryce Young guy. I'm gonna go Lions -10. I'm gonna take the juice.
What if? Okay, ultimate twist. Kelsey gets in trouble for tampering, and we find out Taylor Swift has been betting Travis Kelce unders all season, and Kelsey just has the worst year ever.
That would be pretty funny.
What if that's the conspiracy?
That would be pretty funny. I also think it's that thing, like, whenever a dude has a girl has their girlfriend or their girl, like whatever girl they're seeing, come see them play a sport, they always suck, like 99% of the time, because they're in their own head. I feel like they suck every time, and because they're just trying to chuck shots and look cool. And I think Kelsey's in that right now, where last week he didn't look very impressive against the Jets. The thing is, he's going against a Swiss cheese defense in the Minnesota Vikings. He better score a touchdown, or else I think that conspiracy has legs, if that's the case. If he doesn't score a touchdown this week, we need to have a talk.
What if this is the last thing I'll say? What if Taylor Swift is just like a sharp, and she starts moving lines on her own?
I think, no joke, even if she wasn't a sharp, I think if she just put out her picks, I think she would just move lines, because so many Swifties would just start betting the crap out of her picks.
I just see like, hey, a tweet or something. Hey, Swifties, today we're betting round robin all unders, all 1 p.m. games.
She's like, hey, Swifties, I got Jacksonville State -6, and then we're going to take UConn +9.5 against Rice. I know UConn hasn't had a great year.
Have you seen this JT Daniels guy?
She's like, I love Iowa unders. They're my favorite.
That was
Taylor
good.
Swift.
That was good.
I think, FanDuel, hire Taylor Swift to. You lost Pat McAfee, now have Taylor Swift do a show. How about that? Taylor Swift betting hour.
We get Gronkowski and Taylor on a show together.
Oh gosh, I would.
We get Taylor to kick the field goal at halftime of the Super Bowl, like Gronk did last year.
Oh, I wasn't watching halftime last year.
I
didn't see that.
The whole promo, it was technically a commercial, but they said if Gronk split $10 million.
I remember that. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I would like to see Taylor Swift kick a field goal. I think that would be kind of funny.
It'd be like an olive branch reaching out to the NFL.
All right, we can't have. Hey, we're on the good side of Swifties right now. We need to stay over there.
Are we?
Hey, I'm willing to go against almost any sports fan base, any LeBron fan, any of that. Swifties is not a battle I can handle. I can't go there. I can't. They're too strong.
They're chronically online. That's like they just sit in their. Yeah, never mind.
Better at social media than we are. So
yeah.
Anyhow, I like the over here. 52.5 is just a lot of points, and just take a bunch of anytime touchdowns. Let's move on though. Let's talk. You want to do Cowboys Niners Sunday Night Football?
Let's do it.
Cowboys Niners feels like a great Sunday night football game. It feels classic. I hate seeing NFC East matchups on Sunday Night Football. That's when it's the most dead to me, when it's Cowboys Giants or like Eagles Giants on a Sunday Night Football broadcast. I cannot stand those. Yes, it's huge markets, but they're still such bad games every single time. Cowboys Niners, I am thrilled for. I'm seeing +4. I'm seeing 3.5. Let's roll with Niners -3.5. And the over-under is 45. This game's in San Francisco or Santa Clara at Levi Stadium. I'll let you start off the 4-0 Niners against the 3-1 Cowboys.
Yeah, this one's tough. I mean, great game on paper. Both these defenses can score at will. We've seen it, whether it's fumble returns, pick sixes. That keeps me away from a total altogether, because I know good and well if I take the under, because both defenses are great. Even if they
can turn a game around. Yeah, they can just turn a game on a dime.
And it's not even just the Cowboys, or like both teams can do it. Now, that keeps me away from a total altogether. When I look at a side, I think the teams are built very similar with the exception of quarterback. Purdy is very much. I think he's going to take care of the ball. He's not going to throw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. But Dak can. But Dak can also turn the ball over 3 times. So when I'm looking at this, I think this game will be played on the ground. Both teams have stellar pass rushes, but they're also they're both top 3 in pass rush, but they block for the run very well too. So I think both teams will run the ball well. I think I trust Dak with that higher ceiling, even if it comes with a lower floor. So and they're getting the points. I'm going to go Dallas here.
I'm going Niners. I think this is a Super Bowl team. I'm telling you right now. The
Cowboys are a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, Cowboys are a Super Bowl team as well. I'm not just saying that. I think on the road in San Francisco helps a lot for the Niners. I want to read you this though, because are the Cowboys frauds? And I'm not just doing this for a TikTok bit or a little clip, whatever. None of that. I genuinely want to know because they haven't played anybody good this season. They've played the Giants. They played the Jets. They played the Cardinals and lost. They've played the Patriots. They really haven't played a tough team yet. And the Niners are the best team in football right now. There's no – go on.
Well, who'd they play week 1? Giants, right? They blew Giants out. Okay. I would say you're right. They haven't had a super tough schedule, but they've played –
I don't think they've played a real playoff team yet. I don't think they've played a single playoff team. I don't think you can classify the Giants, Jets, Cardinals, or Patriots as a playoff team.
They've played good defenses. I think you could say that. The Jets and the Patriots, both good defenses.
But with such bad quarterbacks that just when you have a good defense like the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys, obviously everyone would say that, is the Cowboys defense is their specialty, and that's what is going to that's what makes them so great. But like, the offense has no pressure really because they know the defense is going to get that stop against a guy like Zach Wilson or Mac Jones. So then the offense can kind of play a little more free. They don't really have to do as much in those games. And also the defense scored in almost all of those games.
Yeah, that's very true. The Cowboys have relied on the pick sixes and the defensive scores. Now, in most of those games, it hasn't mattered. So like the Patriots, I believe there was a pick 6 that the Cowboys had. Didn't really matter. The Giants game didn't really matter. So I hear what you're saying. You can be concerned about the Cowboys pick. I don't think that is introducing the defensive scores brings in so much variance. It's hard to sort that out. So that is something we might disagree, but I can't sit here and yell at you for it.
No, and I just think this is just going to be a fascinating game.
Yes.
Like, I'm so excited. Like, the Sunday night games recently, I've been, okay. Like, Jets-Chiefs, I was excited for just because I was like, okay. I was more excited just to see Zach Wilson, how he was going to perform.
Yeah.
Probably on the biggest stage of his life. I don't think there's ever been higher stakes in his life than that Jets game. And, I mean, he performed well. But, like, remember that Pittsburgh game a couple weeks ago? Well, who Pittsburgh was on Sunday night. Who'd they play? Was it the Raiders?
Browns. Oh,
no.
Wait. Yeah, it was
that was
Raiders.
Monday
they
night.
played the Raiders.
It was Raiders. Yeah, that game stunk. That was just a snoozer. And like games like this, dude, this needs to be Sunday Night Football. I love when the NFL puts big time games in primetime spots. Thursday, you can kind of give me whatever you want, NFL. I'm going to watch and I'm going to be fine with it because I'm already hungry for football. It's like, hey, you've done your intermediate fasting for a couple days. No football. Here's some football for you. A little taste, a little snack, little palate cleanser right there. Bears Commanders. And then Friday, Saturday, you got your college football. You're fine. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Give me all the crap games put in one spot. I don't want any good games at 1 o'clock. Put like one decent game in the afternoon and then 3 okay games. And then I want the best games on Sunday and Monday. Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. I don't like when a good game's at 1 o'clock because guess what? I want to just tune in all over the place. I'm fine with quantity of crap football at 1 o'clock. Like I'm fine watching the Panthers and the Jets and the Broncos and the Bears at 1 o'clock on a Sunday.
I do want to say I'm very glad that the buys are coming in this week because too many games at 1 o'clock. Too many games at 1 o'clock.
No, well, I don't mind too many games at 1 o'clock. I think they should. Why not just move some to the 4:25 spot?
I would be okay with 5-6 games at 4. Yeah, 4:25.
4 to 5 games at 4:25. That'd be nice. That's what we need because lately, oh my gosh, those 425 games have been snooze fest.
Yeah.
There's like one that's interesting. Chargers Raiders was that one last week, but like no one cared about Niners Cardinals. Cowboys were murdering the Patriots. The only thing that mattered in the Niners Cardinals game was the spread. And if you took a 15-point spread in that game, like calm down.
Yeah.
Anyhow, on this game though, Niners Cowboys, I'm on the Niners. I think Christian McCaffrey is just the best. I think he might just be the best weapon in football, a non-quarterback player. Like Tyreek Hill's awesome, Justin Jefferson, like how he's elevated this Niners team. It genuinely doesn't matter who's at quarterback for them. They are going to be relevant.
Yeah, when he stays healthy, it's very hard to argue that.
100%. That's very big key there. All right, and then so we are going to move on. I can't believe we're doing this. We may be the only show doing this. Packers Raiders Monday Night Football. I am so intrigued by this game. I texted you earlier. I said, "Oh wow, like I think we might be the only crew that just cannot wait for this Packers Raiders game." There's so many questions that I think will be answered in this game. The game's in Vegas. Packers are currently -1, over/under is 45, so basically a pick 'em. Money line's -115 with the Packers. I'll let you start here.
Yeah, I wasn't able to be on the recap show, but I do want to go ahead and get this out of the way. Jimmy G plays for the Raiders. The Raiders win that game. It's just as simple as that. You had the interception.
Did you listen to the recap show?
I did not.
Okay, that's fair. A good thing might be a good thing.
Did you trash me or the Raiders?
I think we both.
Why?
I'll be honest. I'm not a. All right.
The Raiders aren't.
Get this. Okay. The main trashing was because someone may or may not have been the reason why all three parlays were blown this weekend.
I don't even want to hear that. After that, the Josh.
All three parlays were blown this weekend.
The great Josh Oliver incident of Week 4 exempts me from any trash from now on. It's as simple as that. And if you want to,
from now on.
If you want to, we can go through every single parlay, and we'll see how many picks of mine were right. We'll see. Why don't we do that? That'll be our next experiment. We can follow up with the Twitter followers, and we can put that out there.
I think if we're being honest, I think you and I are 500 on the year, and then Connor's. I think he's missed one game. So good thing he's not here to hear that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I blew it. But
no, but it's
Josh
okay.
Oliver.
It happens. Josh Oliver. Awesome.
Josh Oliver.
We should just do like a ridiculous anytime touchdown parlay. We should just start putting in Josh Oliver anytime touchdowns. Like I'm gonna put in Hayden Hurst every week. You put in Josh Oliver, and Connor puts in like just some backup tight end on like the Cowboys, like Jake Ferguson.
I'm gonna throw in a CFL guy. See if you guys notice.
Yeah, probably. Packers -1, over/under 45. Games in Vegas, like I mentioned. What you were talking about Jimmy G and the Raiders being out.
Yeah.
Is he playing this week?
He is questionable right now. If kind of off topic. Do we know if Anthony Richardson ended up having a concussion when he left that game and then sat out the next week?
I don't know.
So,
I think he did.
Okay, well then that makes me feel better about Jimmy G playing this week. He's listed as questionable right now on ESPN. I think maybe limited participant in practice. Aiden O'Connell actually looked fine. Like other than the fumbles and the turnovers, I mean, he didn't really look that bad. He was moving the ball. So,
but what defense were they playing against?
Well, sure, but you play who's in front of you.
He also had 2 fumbles, and he lost that game on that pick. That was Kirk Cousins-esque pick right there. Blew the game against a bad defense, and Khalil Mack kind of had his way with that offensive line in that game.
Yeah.
What worries me about the Raiders is I just think the Packers defense is going to win this game.
I don't think they're that good. No, I don't. I don't think the Packers defense is that good to win them the game. Jordan Love's going to have to do something.
But this Raiders offensive line is clearly garbage. And I'm saying that's if Aiden O'Connell's playing.
Yeah.
If Aiden O'Connell's playing, this Packers defense is going to kind of have their way with him. I think Jimmy G, different story. I think I still like the Packers here. The Packers are a drug I'm not going to be able to quit this season. Like every time I see the Packers line, I'm like, oh yeah, I like the Packers on that line.
Yeah. It's tough because it's 2 teams that I've been high on. If Jimmy G plays, it's Raiders. And I don't know how much that line will move. I don't know if you can still get them as an underdog. Probably not. But with it up in the air, I'm going to stay away. A lot of haters being like, Dylan, how are you feeling about the Raiders? Not looking good. Season's not looking great right now. Let's calm down a little bit, all right? We'll get our quarterback back. Max Crosby has looked amazing. I want Max Crosby in baby blue. Send him over to Nashville, the 604 or whatever it is. Get him on the Tennessee Titans, please. He looks amazing.
This 3-game stretch coming up for the Raiders is going to determine your win total.
Well, can you help me out here?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Green Bay,
Win.
New England.
Oh, okay.
At Chicago.
Win. Oh my gosh.
Because the win total was 6.5, right?
I think so.
I think you might need to win all 3 of those games. At least 2. You got to go 2-1.
The Patriots might have our number. I don't know. But are they home or away? Where are these games at?
Vegas at Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's 3-0. All right. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick going against Josh McDaniels. I might lean Bill Belichick there. Or, greater question, Connor and I talked about this. Is Bill Belichick tanking? Is he turning into Greg Popovich? I think Bill Belichick might be sneaky turning into Greg Popovich, and the NFL's like, hey, just tank. We're gonna get you Drake Maye or Caleb Williams. Just tank. Go 2-15 this year.
I'm gonna go ahead and offer up this hot take. I don't think tanking is a thing. I don't think it happens.
In what sport?
NBA
tanking
NFL.
is real. NBA tanking is blatantly real.
Yeah, I don't follow the NBA enough, but I think in NFL,
as a Charlotte Hornets fan, it is very real when they're playing G League guys over healthy starters.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that NBA is a bit of a different beast, but I don't know. These coaches want to they would have to get explicit acknowledgement from ownership that their jobs are safe if they were to tank. And I don't know if that happens.
But nobody has a safer job than Bill Belichick.
You think so?
I don't think there is a world unless he did something criminal where he gets fired. He will 100% walk out on his terms.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Really?
I think they're going to get fed up, man. This media engine, I hear Boston people, like, they're fed up with this man.
I'm telling you, he can't, but they're not, the ownership is not going to let him do it. If anything, at the worst, they mutually agree to a resignation or something like that.
Now that I believe if he got fired, we would never know it. We wouldn't know that he got fired.
Might be getting pushed out, but I don't think that happens for a while. Also, they're going to keep him around until he at least gets the wins record. He's going to be, and then once he becomes the all-time winning coach, then he might bail. But anyhow, yeah, I think the Pats might be in the bottom 5 of the league.
No, the Pats? No. Yeah, no, they're not.
Titans or Pats? Who are you taking?
Ooh, where at?
Just in general, neutral field.
I'm taking the Pats.
Really?
Yeah, I would take the Pats.
I feel like they're the exact same team.
I don't know.
I think the Pats have a little bit better defense, and I feel like the Titans kind of have a little bit better offense when Derrick Henry's healthy.
Vrabel did outcoach Belichick.
Healthy.
Vrabel did outcoach Belichick in that 2019 divisional series playoff game. So I don't know. You might have a point there with the Titans. I don't know. Vrabel outcoaching Belichick.
Anything else in the NFL before we do parlays?
Yes, I want to bring up this one talking point. So whenever we come on this show, I see stuff on Twitter throughout the week, and I never save it. And it's like, oh, maybe I'll bring that up on the show. Well, I've started saving them as bookmarks and making my own folder. I want to read you a quote from Evan Neal, right? The tackle for New York Giants.
Please don't let it be his DMs.
No DMs. This was to a reporter.
Okay.
So I guess people were trashing him, right? He said, quote, "Why would a lion concern himself with the opinion of sheep?" End quote. Another quote, "The person that's commenting on my performance, what does he do? Flip hot dogs, hamburgers somewhere?" End quote. Now, in response to that, you and I, Karter, we're two hardworking men. We have day jobs. We like to talk about sports. these people that are criticizing him, they're reporters, they're media people. As a player, you cannot make these kinds of comments when your run block rating is 54 and your pass block rating is 40.6 and your team is 1-3, right? Giants are 1-3. Am I right there?
Yep. Yes.
You can't be making these comments and making fun of people saying that they flip hot dogs and hamburgers somewhere when you're not performing for your team. Everything that's being said by these reporters, I'm assuming, is factually true because of how he's rated by PFF, right? I've watched the guy play. I don't like making enemies in the NFL. And I'm not even saying making enemies. He doesn't know I exist. He thinks I flip burgers or hot dogs somewhere. But this comment, those comments make me hate Evan Neal.
I agree.
Get over yourself.
This is why the NBA is becoming a turnoff for people. I mean, should we just call this white guy segment?
Yes.
This is old. Like, yeah, I don't like traffic going to ball games. This is ridiculous. I'll just watch it on my TV. Yeah. No, it's annoying though because it just shows you're out of touch with reality. Dude, they're talking about you playing football and you're making millions of dollars. Guess what? You're gonna go to you're gonna take your fat butt to McDonald's and get a hamburger and get some fries, and you're gonna be thankful that someone's doing that for you, that you can get a McDouble at midnight or something. Don't be a dick to them. It's simple as that.
So
kids show. I'm sorry about that, but kids show.
Here on the Karter Cast, are we prepared to call Evan Neal a conservative because he's dogging on the working class,
or he is a high up communist?
Ooh, okay. That's I think I can get behind that too. Oh, it's people's jobs. I have it written down right here. It's people's jobs to make comments about how you play the game. You can't make these comments about, oh, well, what do you know? They're not football players, Karter. They're reporters. It is their job to report on the crappy job you're doing at tackle. That's their job.
And also, the frustrating part is like, oh, we get like all these athletes saying, oh, I'm tired of these reporters talking about it. You guys wouldn't even know. You guys couldn't deal with this all the time. One, reporters get dogged constantly on social media, left and right. Every single beat reporter gets destroyed on Twitter by fans constantly. And also, these players, this comes with the territory. This is why you get paid millions. This is why you get to do this. You get to play a game for a living.
Yep.
Like, come on.
Yep, I 100% agree. One last thing, another exercise I wanted to do. Last thing, let's say Dak Prescott against the Cowboys 49 or against the 49ers, 2 picks, 162 yards, 1 touchdown. What's the headline on Get Up Monday morning?
Repeat that stat line.
162 yards, 2 interceptions, 1 passing touchdown. What's the headline on Get Up?
For Dak?
For Dak, yes. I'm saying, should Dak be...
go ahead.
Should Dak be begging for change on the highway in Dallas? They're going to tear that man apart. Does Dak deserve to live?
I think it's going to involve something with Trey Lance.
Okay, all right, I hear that.
Since they're playing the Niners, is it Trey Lance time or something? Should Dak be ran out of town? They're going to go bananas. Is
it time for Trey Lance to saddle up in Dallas? There we go, Cowboys. That's it.
Yep, there you go. That's it. I kind of sneaky hope the Niners blow out the Cowboys. I kind of sneaky hope the Niners just whoop them.
But you have if you're hoping for that because you want to see the Dak overreaction, then Dak has to have a bad game. I think if Dak has a great game and the 49ers just put up 40, then I don't know if we get that reaction.
I don't think we do either.
I don't know. Then they're coming for the head coach's job like they always do in February.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy, he might be the easiest target of a head coach to be like, nope, it's his fault. Yep. It's his fault. Like, maybe it's just like being a fat guy. Everyone's like, nope, he's dumb, he's stupid, he's fat, doesn't matter. Like, get him out of town. He seems like the easiest target. I don't think there's any other coach in the league now. Brandon Staley, but that's warranted. But like Mike McCarthy went to the playoffs year after year, was so close to Super Bowls,
Yep.
won a Super Bowl, and year after year, it's like, nope, get this fat butt out of town. Get him out of town. He is the issue. And he just seems like the easiest target. He might just be Kevin James.
Here's the difference between Staley and McCarthy, though. Think about the leash they've given Staley and how close they're keeping McCarthy. I mean, they've kept. I mean, that's the difference between fat guy, skinny guy minute.
Yeah, I know. Like good-looking Staley is getting away with murder down there in L.A. Meanwhile, Mike McCarthy's like, hey, we're not doing bad. Double-digit wins, playoff win. Like, we're not doing bad here in Dallas. This is much better than the Jason Garrett years.
And in Staley's defense, there's probably a lot of people getting away with murder in L.A. Just saying.
Fox News Dylan.
Just
We're
saying.
back. The libs are back.
Homeless
I'm trying
people.
to think. But I think Matt Rule was the easiest target until he left. Like Matt Rule, you look at the guy and you're like, oh my gosh, dude.
Loser.
Yeah, that's Kevin. Yeah, loser. Kevin James. Like you're just. Exactly.
Oh man, he needs 7 years.
7 years. Jay-Z, Jay-Z's agency, dude. I'm trying to think. Is there any other coach that is even remotely close to Mike McCarthy being an easy target to fire? Just be like, this guy sucks. And I don't even think it's because he's on the Cowboys. I just think it's because he's a bigger guy.
Well, Ron Rivera was there for a second until he got cancer, and then that kind of stopped. That firing talk stopped after that.
True.
And look at him now. Chase Young's back. Some are saying Ron Rivera single-handedly got Chase Young back to playing football.
Apparently.
Redemption story.
Freddie Kitchens was another one when he was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But Matt Patricia, yes, that was warranted, but like also bigger guy, easy target.
Now,
like, because it's really hard to like tell yourself that you need to get the hot coach, like a good looking guy out of town. Just be like, oh yeah, Sean McVay, get out, you suck. It's like
Matt LaFleur.
Like it took a lot for Cliff Kingsbury to get fired.
Yeah, that's a good point. It really did. Now,
good looking guy. And then, but he took a lot.
How we can really test this theory is the first year the Chiefs go 11-5, 10-6. See if they start calling for Reed's job. That's like our ultimate litmus test.
I mean, it kind of happened in Philly.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, Romeo Crennel when he was in Houston. Anyhow, let's do parlays. No more fat coach talk. NFL parlay this week. I'll go. Connor is not here, but Connor did submit a pick. Maybe we should have just gone with a 2-legger, just a cute 2-legger.
Get something on the board. Sometimes you just gotta see one go through the net.
Yeah. So my choice this week is Lions money line. I'm kidding. My pick for the parlay is Falcons money line against the Texans. Everyone's all on the Texans. Love the Texans. They are the cute team right now. They're the sexy team. CJ Stroud is the next best thing since sliced bread right now. That comes to an end this week, comes to a grinding halt. The Falcons can run the ball, and the Texans cannot stop the run game. Guess who they played last week? The teams they've played. Let's get stats department on it real quick. Let's see here. The Houston Texans. By the way, this game's in Atlanta, so we are going Texans. Texans are 2-2 on the season. Let's talk about who they played. Baltimore and Indianapolis were their two losses. Great. They had great run games. Anthony Richardson played in that game. Lamar Jackson ran all over them. J.K. Dobbins scored a touchdown in that game. Zach Moss, I believe, even scored a touchdown against them. Jacksonville. The run game is kind of subpar with Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby.
Yep.
They don't have a running quarterback either in Trevor Lawrence. Pittsburgh. Nobody has worse running backs than Pittsburgh with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren and a more vanilla offensive play calling outside of Frank Reich than Matt Canada in Pittsburgh. Therefore, this is the week it kind of corrects itself. Falcons are going to run left, right, and straight all over this team. Give me Falcons money line. Take every Falcons running back prop you can find. Falcons are going to win this game. They're going to dominate the clock. They're going to win 21-10. Gross game. It's going to be on the 1 p.m. slate. It's going to be annoying. You're going to see 3 rushing touchdowns by the Falcons, and they're just going to dominate the game. They're going to have possession 70-30 in this game.
Love it. I'm going the Pats money line against the stinky Saints. There we go. We'll get it out. I don't know who's playing quarterback. Derek Carr's questionable. He's been practicing. Didn't look great last week. If we get Jameis, that kind of makes me a little worried, but I think it'll end up being Carr.
Yeah, I like this pick. The Saints have only beaten the Panthers and the Titans this season. Titans started off the year just very slow, just gross. And Carolina, obviously one of the worst teams in football right now, and they barely won both of those games. Barely. Yeah. And then you get blown out by Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. You blow a 17-point lead. Yes, Derek Carr was out, but you still blow a 17-point lead against the Packers, who don't really have an explosive offense. That's concerning. Pat's coming off a massive loss. Bill Belichick does not get blown out or even lose big games twice. I love this pick. Pat's money line over the Saints. This game's in Foxborough, too. Connor's pick real quick. Titans Colts over 42.5. I think he's just taking that because it's an AFC South game, because every AFC South divisional matchup is going over for some reason. But are you a little scared on that one?
I don't know. The Titans offense.
The Titans are just weird because, maybe the Titans can score 30 points randomly. I mean, the Colts defense is nothing to brag home about.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd put that much confidence in the Titans offense. It's really hit or miss. The Colts, I think, can do it because Anthony Richardson's so electric. Shout out, I will be in the house for that game. I will be in the building cheering on the over.
Cheering on the over. There we go. And then Anthony Richardson anytime touchdown probably is going to get played on my end.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's the podcast parlay this week. It is Falcons money line, Titans Colts over 42.5, and Patriots money line against the New Orleans Saints. That one's going to get us on the board. That's a nitty gritty parlay. That's like, hey, we're getting in the grit and grind of things. We're betting on terrible quarterbacks. Like every single part of that parlay is, hey, we're betting on bottom tier quarterbacks right now. Anytime touchdown parlay, Connor's pick is Derrick Henry. Chalk. Your pick, Dylan.
I don't even remember what I told you. Did I tell you Cam Akers?
Cam Akers.
There we go. It's time for changing of the guard in Minnesota, and I think this is it.
Chalk me up. Get me on the chalkboard. I'm Bart Simpson writing on the chalkboard. Give me Bijan Robinson, -110 against the Texans. He's going to run one in. He's going to have one of the greatest performances of his life in this game. I would not be surprised if you saw in red zone, he has 150-plus rushing yards in this game and 5 receptions for 50 yards. He's going to be all over the place. Give me Bijan Robinson anytime touchdown. I honestly don't even hate Tyler Algier to get in the end zone as well, but that's our anytime touchdown parlay this week. It is Bijan Robinson, -110, Cam Akers, +230, and Derrick Henry, -125. Great. I like that. I actually really like that. I think Cam Akers takes over the starting role. I think this is the best time to bet Cam Akers because you're going against a Chiefs defense that isn't bad by any means, but he's going to get the ball. Like you mentioned, the run block grade earlier when we were previewing that game, he's going to show why he should be starting over Alexander Mattison. I think this is going to be your last chance to get Cam Akers at a good number for anytime touchdown.
Yep, agree. Let's go. Let's get him across the finish line.
Okay, college football. We're going to move on. Only one game to cover this week in college football. Oklahoma, Texas, Red River Shootout. The spread is -6.5 right now. I'm trying to get the over pulled up. It is not pulling up for me for some reason. Here we go. 60.5. The over-under 60.5. Game is being played at the Cotton Bowl. The last time this game will be a Big 12 matchup. Number 12 Oklahoma against number 3 Texas. Dylan, a little birdie told me your action account had a lot of units on a certain side on this one.
Well, that's changed recently because I got Texas at 5, Oklahoma 6.5. You know how DraftKings works. They give you that little profit boost or whatever. So I ended up taking Oklahoma +6.5 with the profit boost to kind of, lock something in. But if I had to make a pick right now at 6.5, I was looking at this game and it was very easy to see Texas runs the ball better. Oklahoma passes the ball better. Texas commits less penalty yards than Oklahoma. But what it really came down to, Texas has just had a tougher schedule. Like Texas is tested. Oklahoma really hasn't played anybody. I mean, Tulsa isn't an awful team. Cincinnati, I guess, not awful. But Texas has played Bama. So obviously, Bama, a good team. Wyoming, not a bad group of 5 team. They're going to be in contention in the Mountain West. They can run the ball. They have a decent to good defense. Kansas, we got a little screwed there last week. Didn't have their starting quarterback, but still not a bad team by any means. So I think that is what it comes down to for me. This is Oklahoma's first test. This is Texas's third, fourth. They played Rice. Texas played Rice, and they're not a bad team either. So I am going to take Texas. I think that they are tested where Oklahoma isn't. I think that Texas is going to be able to run the ball in Oklahoma, and I'm not convinced that Oklahoma is going to be able to pass the ball against Texas like they have against all of the other lesser teams they've played this year. So I like Texas at 6.5. At 7, just don't do anything. Just watch you don't even have to watch the game. But at 6.5, I would say Texas.
You got to watch this game. This is going to be an awesome game. It's the Red River Shootout. It's going to be great.
Red River Rivalry.
Red River Rivalry.
R-cubed.
Red Rabbit. Yeah, Red Rabbit, whatever. I'm Texas in this game. It's chalk. It's easy. It feels too easy. Oklahoma hasn't played anybody. And when they have played decent teams like Cincinnati, they 20-6 against Cincinnati. If you watch that game, the only reason Cincinnati didn't even make that closer than it was because Emory Jones physically cannot throw the ball. He had 2 of the dumbest mistakes I've ever seen on a football field.
Yep.
They don't blow out good teams. They haven't played anybody, man. Like, it's the Gonzaga college basketball comparison. You play West Coast Conference teams like Pepperdine and Loyola Marymount, and then come NCAA tournament time, you're not prepared to play an Alabama or a Duke. Like, you're just not ready for that kind of matchup. I feel like it's the same thing here. I think Texas, Oklahoma, obviously it's a rivalry game. Obviously that it's usually close. It's usually played close. It's usually a lot of points. I think that changes this one. I think Texas blows them out. I think they kill them. I think this Texas team has legitimate national title aspirations.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And a couple things I want to say before we move on. They both play fast. Very close to 70 plays a game. I think that puts them both in the top 40 in college football. Texas has better defensive numbers. Even with the schedule they've played. They've played a tougher schedule, and yet their defensive stats, aggregate defensive stats, so yards allowed per game, they're better than Oklahoma's. And I think that tells you what you need to know. I'm all over Texas here. I think Texas is the play.
We did get screwed out of seeing Kansas, Texas with Jalen Daniels not playing.
Texas probably loses that game. That's where I'm going with it. Yeah, do you see a theme here? If I bet a team and their quarterback doesn't start, then they probably would have won that game if the quarterback started.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the perfect excuse. You get to use it. That's why you play this game. That's why you do this podcast. I love Texas in this matchup. I just think they're just better. I think they're genuinely maybe the first or second best team in the country. Like,
no, I don't think
no. All right, let's get into a bigger discussion then. You know what? College football playoff today, not based off, just based off, it's more so power rankings. What you've seen with your own eyes, give me your top 4 teams in college football right now.
Michigan, Georgia. Yeah, I'll go Georgia too.
Georgia has not impressed me, man.
I mean, they haven't, but I don't know. It's tough. We're 5 weeks in. We're playing a what-if game. I'm trying my hardest.
It's not a what-if game. We've seen almost half the season.
Well, yeah, but no, like Georgia hasn't played anybody. Michigan hasn't played anybody. Ohio State's played one good team, maybe.
Georgia struggled playing nobody.
But I don't know. At the end of the day, they won the game. I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, they did what they needed to do. So I'll take that back. Karter. We'll go Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas.
Really? So no Florida State in there. No Pac-12 teams in there.
No
Pac-12 teams?
Ah, man.
I know you want to put Oregon in there.
No, not Oregon. I'll put
Washington?
I'll go Washington before Oregon.
Really? Even though Washington barely beat Arizona this past week?
I'm not playing that game. I'm not playing the barely beat game. I'm playing who is the better team. And that, to me, barely beating a team is not indicative of that. Oh my gosh!
Really?
Me. Sorry, I was
What's going on?
I was watching the Phillies Marlins. Phillies just scored, and I want the Marlins to win. I don't like Phillies. Okay, so final. Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, Washington. That's my top 4.
Oh, so you're putting Washington top 4.
I'll go Washington top 4.
That means we're leaving out USC.
Oh yeah, and that defense, yes. They're not my top 25.
You're leaving out Oregon?
Yeah, I'll leave out Oregon.
I don't know if I agree with that. You're leaving out Florida State?
Yeah, no, they're frauds. Florida State's frauds.
Florida State's frauds.
Yeah, that LSU.
How so?
People are putting too much weight into that LSU game. They barely outgained them, benefited off turnovers. Just because they play fast does not mean they're a good team. They almost lost to Boston College. No, not for me. I'm not buying into that. And I said that since the beginning of the year. Everybody was high on this Florida State team. I'm like, why? What are we doing? And sure, they're undefeated, but and they should have lost to Clemson.
They should have lost to Clemson.
They
should have lost. If Dabo Swinney, if that was some of the worst coaching I've ever seen by Garrett Riley and Dabo Swinney in that game, that was horrendous coaching. I agree with you. I don't think Florida State's that good.
Nope.
I would be shocked if they made the college football playoff. You look at their schedule here. They don't play anybody the rest of the season. I mean, it's weak stuff.
Yep.
But they got to play Miami, and if Riley Leonard's able to play, they got to play Duke. I think they'll lose one of those and ruin their playoff chances.
I agree 100%. I don't think Florida State is as good as everybody's making them out to be.
Okay, let me read you some other teams then. Okay. What about Oregon? Or I already said Oregon. Penn State.
No. Drew Aller has not been. Now, they cover. I'll give you that. If you want to get into sports betting, you just bet on Penn State because that's obviously James Franklin's only goal is to cover these spreads. But Drew Aller has not impressed me. Their defense is what I expected. I think they'll take one of the big ones, being Ohio State, Michigan. I would not be surprised to see them beat Ohio State. But I don't think I wouldn't put them right now in the top whatever.
They're also, they've been murdering teams, but they're also kind of a product of their schedule. West Virginia, Delaware, Illinois, Iowa, Northwestern, and UMass next week. Like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, what are you supposed to do there? And then Oklahoma. No, we both don't agree with it. North Carolina.
No.
They're terrible.
They're not a good team. And let me tell you.
They are. I'll tell you right now, and Connor's not here. I'm not saying this just because I'm a Carolina hater. They're not a top 25 team in the country.
No, absolutely not. And, we want to talk about their quarterback. I did some research on their quarterback because there's a lot of stuff going around on Twitter about how he was projected as a higher draft pick than J.J. McCarthy. I did a little experiment on College Football Reference. They have stat leaders for a various amount of quarterback stats, pass efficiency rating, passing yards per attempt, adjusted passing yards per attempt. They only show top 20, right? Karter, I couldn't find this guy's name on any of the lists except for completion percentage. I couldn't find him on the top 20 of any of these.
Okay, but stats don't tell the whole story.
What are you supposed to do when you're comparing players? You tell me to compare J.J. McCarthy and Drake Maye.
But I can't believe I'm defending a Carolina guy here. But how stats don't tell the whole story, because if you go based off stats, Michael Penix is the best quarterback in the country right now.
Heisman odds would say so.
Yeah, because but then you say he plays in the Pac-12 and he's not a good quarterback because he plays in the Pac-12.
Okay, then fill me in. What are the pieces I'm missing by looking at the stats?
It's not the stat. Have you watched Drake Maye? Have you watched Carolina play?
No.
The eye test has to come in.
Yes, I have.
The eye test has to come into this.
Okay, so
when you watch him, do you? Ah, man.
You could even if
PFS.
They're not running a pro style offense.
But also you can look at the pieces around him. Like no one on Carolina is jumping out on you. I mean, no one on that Carolina team is very good. J.J. McCarthy has the safety blankets of Roman Wilson and Blake Corum.
So I'm supposed to downgrade the guy because of that?
An elite offense. Well, you say you downgrade Ohio State guys because Ohio State quarterbacks because they have
4 first rounders every year at wide receiver, every single year. Michigan has a running back that's going to go in the 3rd round. That's what we have. None of our
But
wide
he
receivers.
He is an elite college running back, though. He is a Heisman candidate running back.
I don't know what you want me to say. You could have at least given me
argument.
You could have at least given me the argument that Michigan hasn't played anybody. Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
But even if they haven't played anybody, JJ McCarthy hasn't looked great.
They're just,
but also to credit to him, he doesn't have to do much in those games. Like when you're playing Bowling Green, like you don't even have to watch film.
I don't know. We're having this conversation about who's the better quarterback, and you're telling me that it needs to be the eye test. No, it's not. It's the game isn't played on paper, but that's how you evaluate guys.
So based off stats and evaluating guys, Mac Jones should have been the best quarterback coming in to the 2021 draft with Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields. Mac Jones had the best stats.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. He had the best offense in the country. Dominated. He had there's no way he didn't have the best stats in the country.
Give me the rundown on the wide receiver room he had.
Oh, yeah, obviously it was great.
Yeah. It's not Michigan's.
It was great. But the other thing is, you can't even evaluate these guys because even if a guy does have a great talent room or whatever, he can suck in the NFL or vice versa. We saw Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had freaking 2 first-round wide receivers and an all-NFL offense. He's been great in the NFL. Mac Jones, same thing, not so great in the NFL.
So is the conclusion that we're drawing is that it doesn't matter who you have as a supporting cast?
I think that's fair, right? But then it goes both ways because
yes. Then the whole Drake Maye thing about him not having weapons is irrelevant.
But it is in a sense because then it just makes their job so much easier. Like you put Drake Maye on those Ohio State teams, he's going to put up the same stats as all these other guys.
But you say the same thing about J.J. McCarthy. You give J.J. McCarthy Marvin Harrison Jr., then he's a front runner for the Heisman.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
Okay, but answer me this question. 2 minutes left in the game. You're down 4 points. You're at the 20. You need a touchdown to win the game. Do you trust J.J. McCarthy to lead you down the field and get you a touchdown?
Yes.
Over Drake Maye?
Yes.
Over Caleb Williams?
Probably not. Well, it depends.
Over Michael Penix?
Do they have the same wide receivers? Like, are they going with their supporting cast? That's
sure.
where it gets hairy. Like,
yeah, it kind of gets to get hairy there.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that. But I will say the conversation was they had Drake Maye go. They had 4 quarterbacks going in the top 10. I believe it was Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, J.J. McCarthy, and Bo Nix in that order. That was PFF's projection. There's no world where you can put Drake Maye in front of J.J. McCarthy. We haven't seen anything. And they don't you could even make the argument that maybe it favors who runs a pro style offense. But North Carolina doesn't even do that more so than Michigan does.
Yeah, Drake Maye just has to do more for his team though to keep him in games.
No,
he has to play hero ball.
What you're doing is you're going to the dog. You're saying Drake Maye's a dog and J.J. McCarthy's not a dog. That's what when you don't want to go by stats, you go by dog.
But dog matters.
Dog does not matter.
What?
Not more than this. Dog doesn't matter more than this.
It could be pass efficiency.
It can be a small piece to the puzzle, right? It's like we're watching Saw 10. You take a little piece out of the victim's skin. It'd be a small piece of the puzzle, but the whole puzzle takes into the numbers, how they play the game, what they're working with, the offense they run. North Carolina is not running a pro-style offense. So to say that Drake Maye is more suited to be an NFL-style quarterback isn't right. Michigan has a former NFL coach coaching them. Who's going to be more ready for the NFL? Drake Maye, who's got Mac Brown, or J.J. McCarthy, who has Jim Harbaugh?
I don't know. Mac Brown did have Vince Young.
What do you mean you don't know? You know, Karter. You just don't want to admit it.
I'm not a Drake Maye fan. I don't care, but when I watch Drake Maye and I watch J.J. McCarthy, I am more impressed with Drake Maye. I am. It's just a matter of the fact. When I watch the games, Drake Maye stands out more to me. We got to talk about the USC real quick.
What about him?
Why do you think USC is so bad?
Their defense. That's it. They play.
I mean, obviously, but like, do you think there's any way they can make the playoff?
I don't remember their schedule. I really don't. I think they can beat Utah without Cam Rising. I don't know if Cam Rising is even going to play this year.
So they got to play at Notre Dame after this week.
That will be a loss. That will be a great game,
Utah.
though.
They got to play Utah. Cam Rising will probably be playing.
They'll lose that. They'll lose that.
In LA.
Yeah.
At Cal.
Yeah, that's a win.
Home Washington.
That'll be a tough one. I don't know.
At Oregon.
Oh, man. Yeah, okay.
And then home UCLA.
Dude, I don't even know. It's tough to say yes. I mean, Washington, Oregon, even UCLA, Utah, Cam Rising. That's tough. I mean, there's always that possibility. I think there's Georgia could end up with wow, JT Real Muto. Gosh dang it. Georgia could end up with 2 losses. Bama will probably end up with 2 losses. There's a path for it. I would lean towards
Are we going to see a 2-loss playoff team this year?
Yeah, I
don't think there's enough room for it to happen though.
I think they're I don't know.
Because let's say Florida State runs the table in the ACC, they have to get in. Whether you believe they're frauds or not, they have to get in as an undefeated Power 5.
Yes.
Texas, it doesn't look like they're going to lose. I think an even 1-loss Texas team with that win in Tuscaloosa puts them in the playoff. And then there's only 2 spots left. Then if Notre Dame wins out, that's another story. If, let's say, Washington, Oregon, USC. I think the winner of the Pac-12 makes their way in, and I think the winner of the Big Ten makes their way in. I don't think we see 2 teams for one conference this year in the college football playoff.
Yeah, this is definitely. I know we talked like in previous years about this time that it's wide open, but I really think that. I mean, the Pac-12 could really have. They might just eat themselves up. I mean.
That's the issue. They one team has to set themselves apart,
yep.
And I don't know if they can do that game to game. Oregon or Washington seems like the likely suspect because they have slightly better defense than USC.
Yeah,
but they also don't have as an explosive offense as USC.
It's tough. That Pac-12's tough.
It's a shame they didn't do the 12-team college football playoff this year.
Yeah, but think about next year. Next year it's going to be electric.
Yeah, but this year would have been great, man. Imagine, let's look at the top 12 teams right now. We would have gotten first week, would have gotten Florida State versus Oklahoma, Penn State versus Bama, Washington versus Notre Dame, USC, Oregon. That's awesome.
That's true. It's tough. And now, a question I do want to bring up to you. I talked about this with my brother-in-law at lunch. We always dog on the divisions for Big Ten, right? You don't get the 2 best teams playing in the Big Ten championship. But you look at the Pac-12, having the divisions almost might be advantageous because it keeps these teams from cannibalizing each other. Like Michigan, any given year, they're going to play Wisconsin one year, they're going to play Iowa the other. It's that switch off. Where in the Pac-12, I don't even know what the system is for scheduling, but you have these teams that top 4 or 5 teams playing each other in the regular season. And it's kind of by the time it's all over, you got teams with 2 losses everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's happened in the Big 12 as well too. The Big 12, since you have to have the 2 best teams, you almost want your conference championship game to be a little Swiss cheesy. You want your best team to win. You don't the ACC. That's always how they've been able to do it because Clemson, Florida State were always in the same division, and so it could just Clemson. The winner of that game got to play Duke, Virginia, Carolina, Pitt in the ACC title game every year. So it was easy for them. Same with the Big Ten. I think you're right there. I think having the 2 best teams play in your conference title games really bad for your conference. But it is a wussy. It's a wuss out. It's a wuss out. It's a cop out.
It's not so much having the top 2 teams play for your conference. It's the fact that you can. I mean, you don't choose your schedule, but you're not forced to play the powerhouses every year.
And I think you should.
No, I mean, should you is a different conversation because we're not in a system right now where you're rewarded for doing that, right? So there's no reason to do that.
But college basketball, you are, though.
Now, that's true. That's fair. That's that is leaving my area of expertise or semi-expertise.
Only a month away, Dylan. Get ready to lose some money betting college basketball.
I'm not letting.
I know you're gonna fall. I know you're gonna fall into the trap in November.
I'm not letting it happen.
I'm letting you know. Friday night, November 10th, November 10th, Friday night. Just get ready, Dylan. Just get ready. It's a loaded slate of college basketball games. You're going to be chilling in your jams. It's going to be a chilly Ohio night. Maybe a little dash of snows in the air. It's going to be crispy. And you're like, oh, man, I can order in a pizza and I can watch college basketball all night. And there's going to be football on, too, that night, too. And you're going to be like, man, like maybe I'll put money on this Duke-Arizona game. Maybe I'll put money on this BYU San Diego State game. And then you're going to start reading some action articles. You're going to see some Twitter pics. And you're like, I kind of like the Virginia under in this game.
Now, I will do that. I'll blindly take the Virginia under.
The College Football Podcast parlay this week. I have UCLA -3. My rule, take a home favorite that's unranked against a ranked opponent. Washington State's riding a little too close to the sun. And then little Icarus, they're going to get burned. And UCLA is going to win.
I like it. I'm going Rice -9.5 versus UConn. Dylan, I know what you're thinking. Dylan, Rice. This isn't Chipotle, El Toro, Taco John's. You're right, but it is JT Daniels time. So we're going Rice -9.5 versus UConn. Very bad team.
Is that game in Hartford or wherever they play, or is it in Houston?
It is in wherever UConn plays, Connecticut.
Okay. I don't think that matters to me. I think Rice wins this game by double digits. I love that. And then Connor's pick is Alabama, Texas A&M over 46.5. I don't know how that gets to 50 points, I'll be honest. Just between you and I.
Yeah. Well,
just between you and I. Who's throwing the ball in this game?
Connor turned it off now.
Texas A&M quarterback out. Alabama, Jalen Milroe. Can run the ball great, can't throw the ball. Just putting that out there.
Sometimes it's the ones that make no sense.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. All right, that's the college football podcast parlay this week. It is Rice -9.5, Alabama, Texas A&M over 46.5, UCLA -3. That's it. We're done here. We've been on long enough. Thank you so much for listening. Hit the subscribe buttons, Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening. Follow, rate, review, subscribe. Do what you got to do. Follow us at Wilkerson A. Dillon, at Karter BA, at CarterCast on all social media. YouTube. Subscribe. If you're watching the clip on TikTok, follow. If you see us anywhere on social media, follow. It's been going up. We've been having some videos get boosted. Thank you so much for that. If you're new here, thank you so much for listening. We'll see y'all next time. We'll be back Sunday night, college or NFL recap show. And guess what, Dylan? I know you hate this. NBA's back soon, buddy. Basketball's on the horizon.
Are the Grizzlies going to be good?
Grizzlies won't be bad.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
Just John Morant's got to just no more weapons,
no more firearms.
No firearms. We get liberal on John Morant. Anyhow, that'll do it from us. We'll see y'all next time. Take care.